Take two. How's it going, Facebook?
Hi guys, we're just playing with the video here a little bit. We're having some trouble, so hopefully you can see us live. It looks like it's going. Amy's going to check her phone and see what she can see there.
Okay, I can see it now.
You can see the video? Okay.
Okay, we're up and running.
Alright, so I'll stop shaking the camera.
Now with video technology.
Woo! Anyway, we'll go back to the sharing part of our day.
But yeah, if you missed the previous 30-second broadcast, it was we were discussing as a follow-up from D23 that the minivans, the Honda minivans that are painted like Minnie Mouse, and do they have the ears?
No.
No.
But they're...
No.
They do have
lame.
a Minnie Mouse head painted on the top.
Okay, all right, but they are active, and they're an Uber and taxi-like service in Disney World, and they do have car seats in them, up to 2. So that is actually really great, especially if you've got early dining reservations where you're not sure if the monorail or the boat or the bus is going to get you there on time, and you don't want to call actual Uber.
They are currently only servicing the Boardwalk and the Yacht and Beach Club.
Say what now?
Yeah, so I don't know if this is just a test or if they realize that they do have an issue in that area, because it's really hard to get to a park transfer because you have to walk like 25 minutes to Hollywood Studios. And yes, you can take the boat, but if it's storming, the boats don't run. Yeah. So it definitely, it's an awesome place to stay because of having walking and boat access to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. But when you're trying to get to an off-site dining reservation,
it's like a bubble within the bubble.
Yeah, for being at a deluxe resort, it's kind of a pain to try to get there. So
now I'm wondering, does it work going to?
This was my question. I'm not sure.
Because the reason I ask is one of the newer breakfast dining options
is Trattoria Al Forno
at Boardwalk.
Yeah, with Rapunzel and Flynn and Ariel and Eric.
Yeah, and that I would definitely suggest if you have an early morning to do
because getting
Uber
there,
but I'm just curious if the mini vans
can get you there. I hope so, because I don't know if we've talked about this on the air before, but we've talked about it amongst ourselves that Uber's awesome. We're not sure what the deal is as far as the Florida car seat laws. If Uber is compliant with them, or if because you're on Disney property, if they're waived, or how exactly that works. So none of us have ever tried to Uber with small children.
Right.
So we're not really sure if we would be allowed to or not. And honestly, if you would want to, because the car seat laws are there for a reason.
Right.
The cars aren't built like tanks like they used to be. So, you have to do something to keep the kids a little safer. So, hopefully this will be a 2 Boardwalk also kind of thing, but I don't know if they're just kind of stationed at Boardwalk. Will they be willing to run empty to go pick you up and bring you back? I guess that remains to be seen.
Another dining, I mean, it's not Boardwalk, but it's at Beach Club, is Cape May Cafe.
Which also has character breakfast.
With Mickey and the gang in their beach-going outfits. So, super cute. But, again, it's one of those early morning dining reservations that to do transfers is kind of a pain, and I will be the first to admit we actually canceled a Cape May Cafe breakfast reservation because we had it at the end of our trip and we were just beat, and I didn't think we could get up
as early as you would
hour.
have to get up
exactly.
to get and you've almost got to give yourself 90 minutes because of the double transfer.
Yeah.
Unless, like, the only way you can get away with not doing that is if you're staying, like, at the Contemporary, and you can walk over to Magic Kingdom and get the bus if it's running early enough to get you back to Beach Club, or if you're staying at the Polynesian and Epcot has magic hours and you don't mind walking all the way through Epcot to get to Beach Club. I know, right?
Well, maybe if the minivan thing works out, they'll do like a dining-only transit service. Maybe Remy from Ratatouille vans or something like that, where they kind of scurry through property to get you to your dining reservation. I mean, call me Disney.
You can definitely see that they're understanding that there is a need for people. They really don't have transportation lined up correctly for people who do want to do those morning dining reservations, because I think it used to be a case where you would stay at the resort hotel that had the dining option that you wanted for breakfast, because you would just go to the one that was easy.
Right.
But now people are so familiar with all of the different options that they have, and they really do want to stay at Pop Century to save money, but they still want to get over to get breakfast at the Wave. They just so the mobility of people around property, and they're willing to get up and do it at 7:00 in the morning so they can still do a rope drop. and the restaurant offers reservations that early. So nobody wants to, wait until 10 o'clock to have a reservation.
Right.
Your park morning is shot at that point. So it's definitely becoming more of a need, especially as the hotels get to higher capacity.
Now, did we decide if the minivans had a fee associated with them?
Yes, they are $20 per trip.
Okay.
So that's not going to get you round trip. That's one way.
See,
for your whole family.
That was my thought, because they've got all those cabs waiting out front of the hotel, and I'm like, they're just kind of leaving that money on the table, aren't they? They've got they're handing off to the cab companies,
right?
And now it's like,
I think I read that the minivans are not operated by Disney, though.
Oh, really?
I think.
Is it like their deal with Mears?
It might be, yeah. They're using the Lyft app to call the vans. So I'm not sure if there's a Disney subset in the Lyft app, or that's like just for the on-property vehicles, or how exactly that's working out. But I know that the instructions were to go to a cast member to talk about how to get the app on your phone if you don't already have
interesting.
it. So, so that's
cool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind one of those for myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
To drive around town.
Custom paint job.
Yeah. Red with white polka dots. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Wrap the car.
I think your car right now is red, right?
I know.
So you just need the white polka dots.
All I do that.
I got some paint. So after the show, come on over and paint Amy's car.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
All right. What else is there anything else we learned throughout the week on D23?
Yeah.
Anything
So
else that was,
brief recap
updated?
of D23 in case you missed our Saturday cast is Star Wars Hotel Experience coming to Walt Disney World. Not just a hotel, but an immersive experience at the hotel.
Along with Star Wars Land, with 2 confirmed rides opening in 2019. No date yet. Sometime between January and December.
Yeah.
Pick one.
Sometime between December 1st and December 31st.
That's the most likely. And chances are not every ride will be open when the themed land opens.
Yes.
Just because, I mean, there's so much going on right now. There's just so much construction. I just don't see it being complete. We did also hear confirmation that Disneyland's version will open before Disney World.
Oh, it is now?
Yes. Okay. So plan your trip to Disneyland in like November, and your trip to Disney World in about December, and you can see them both in the same year.
Yep. Tron Light Cycle Ride coming to Magic Kingdom.
Without demolishing any current attractions.
Hi, Jeff. Hi,
Tomorrowland Speedway is staying. People Mover is staying.
Sorry, Olivia.
It's the best ride. People Mover's the best ride.
Oh, no. It's a People Mover?
Well, no, we it's a story for another time.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough.
Well, I should say this. It ended in a positive note.
You didn't get stuck in Space Mountain, did you?
We didn't get stuck in Space Mountain, but we got stuck.
Oh.
And we had to walk off of People Mover. Yeah. But we got fast passes, magic fast passes in return.
So worth it.
For me, I was like, worth it. Yeah. I had no problem.
D23.
Sorry.
That's okay. Also at the Magic Kingdom, a new theater that's going to be showing a Broadway-style show will be coming to somewhere in the front of the park.
Yeah, in the Town Square area,
Town Square area. I've heard 2 choices for where it might go. Actually, what we were thinking was that Tony's Town Square and the meet and greet with Tinkerbell and Mickey Mouse in Town Square Theater is history, and they're probably going to just gut the inside and put it there. I actually heard another theory that there's a cast member parking lot behind the right-hand side buildings on Main Street, and you'll sometimes get routed out that way late at night if it's very crowded in the park, instead of trying to send you down Main Street while people are trying to watch Wishes, because that's a disaster. Also, for the Halloween parties last year, they were using that as a check-in point and giving your goodie bag.
Yep.
Okay.
So they're starting to use that backstage of Main Street a little bit more. Possibility that they might take the cast member parking lot away and put the theater in that space and have just a whole new space, which would be really cool.
That's true. I think there might be some table flipping if Tony's of Town Square got.
I don't know. I don't think it's really loved. I don't think
it's always busy.
Yeah, but I don't think most people would care. I think they'd be like, all right, whatever. Yeah. I would be surprised to see them take away a table service in Magic Kingdom, because it's a little light on table service anyway. So.
And I like Tony's.
I mean, we like Tony's.
I like Tony's.
But it's not a critically acclaimed location. So.
Well, I think it's also overlooked because when you go into the park, you pass it, and then you don't see it till you leave.
Yeah.
So it's not a place that when
not
you're
going
roaming
past it
around
15 times
exactly.
during the day. Yeah.
So I think that could be a reason too.
That's possible. Yeah.
But we enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see it stay. And I mean, I feel like there's so much space in the Town Square Theater, they don't really need that much room for a meet and greet.
There's a lot of space.
But maybe they could just add a third and or fourth meet and greet location somehow and leave that as a character spot.
Hi, Howard.
So, I don't know, we'll see. We don't have any control over it, but
Yeah.
we'll have fun watching.
Disney didn't call us this week, so...
I know. Come on, Disney, get with it. Call us, we'll let you know what to do.
So why don't we move on to more current news?
Well, did we get to everything? The Hollywood Studios.
I don't know.
Toy Story Land is definite for summer of 18.
Yeah, you took the list away.
I know. I did. I don't know what I did with it. And Epcot is getting a Guardians of the Galaxy ride to replace Ellen's Energy Adventure.
Yes.
And
new
restaurant by Mission Space.
And possible. We didn't talk about this one the other day. The
Ratatouille ride is coming to the France Pavilion.
Yay!
Yeah.
I was excited about that.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one too. That's gonna be cool. Also, the Mission Space, I heard this week, it's either come back up online or it's on its way back up. I forget what its opening date was for its refurb, but the green experience has been watered down even farther.
Oh.
So if you were not a fan before, it might be worth a try again.
Or not.
I'm not going because I doubt that they changed the whole restraint system
harness,
thing.
yeah.
That's what I can't do. So that's. But other people might now enjoy Mission Space who didn't previously.
Yes.
Go for it.
Let us know.
Let me know how it is.
Yeah, exactly. Right home and tell us about it.
That was it for Epcot. Right, yeah, because we didn't get any new pavilion news.
New movie in China.
A new movie in China. Yeah, they're going to a seamless Circle Vision 360, so the frames will be taken out, and that movie is currently filming. So, that's it. Resorts, we got Star Wars Resort.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new DVC Resort.
Yep.
And location on that one was a little bit vague, too. There's speculation that it might be in the section of Caribbean Beach that was demoed. It might be in a section where there are currently trees near Hollywood Studios. No real concrete information, just there is a new DVC resort, Riviera something or other, coming. So, no information as far as when, I don't believe.
Yep.
But sometime. We'll let you know.
Okay.
Let's see. Disney Quest, which closed on July 2nd?
I think
sound right?
Something about that.
Yeah.
They've started demolition on the inside of Disney Quest, which of course makes me question, what are they doing with all the arcade machines? And where can I buy one?
Holly was looking online right before we came on.
Whoa, are we buying arcade machines now? Because
only if it came from Disney Quest. What an artifact.
Anyway.
She was looking online.
Machine.
Check the history on the computer.
Yeah.
I was a witness.
Mimi, way to throw me under the bus.
Well, it's not like she needs to hide it. Like, if you buy a crazy taxi machine, I'm okay with it.
Are you going to notice? Will you see it, do you think?
I'll notice. I'll notice.
Yeah, I think the only other piece of news from D23 that we missed was the Art of Marvel is coming to the Hotel New York. So New York's being taken over by Marvel characters.
Yes. As is typically the case.
We did mention and the ships. There's three additional ships, not two.
Yes.
So ships will be coming out 2021, 2022, and 2023. We have no idea of names. My speculation was the Believe, the Wish, and the Imagine.
Oh, okay.
The Imagine. That's my speculation. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Jeff said he thought the Star.
Or the Laugh or something.
I don't know
like
about the
that.
Laugh. I don't think that's. Yeah, I can't see
the
that.
Live,
one.
Laugh, Love.
Oh no! Oh, I hope not.
That's not magical enough.
So, in other news from this week, there was an auction that included some old animation cells, and I thought this was really interesting because when Ben and I were on the Backstage Magic tour, they were talking about how the animators, when a cell was, or when a movie was in the can or completely done filming, they would take a handful of the cells and throw them down the ramp that went between the animation building and the ink and paint building. That the board.
Not a handful, like the whole, all of them.
Oh,
and they would basically use them like a slip and slide.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
So the fact that any animation cells survived anywhere at all is a miracle. Wow. So when they do get auctioned off, the original ones, and they're not completely destroyed from being on, apparently they used to use a nitrate kind of substance that crinkled and warped from so the things that were done in the late 20s and early 30s, like there's hardly anything left. But if you can get that like sweet spot in the late 30s where they switched materials and the animators weren't throwing them down in the morgue and sliding on them, you apparently can get about $33,460 for a classic animation cell. So
did they say what movies were?
It was from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It was the scene where the old hag hands Snow White the apple.
Oh yeah, that's kind of an outlier. That's a pretty big deal.
One from Fantasia apparently sold for more than $20,000. So, and that was from the Sorcerer's Apprentice scene.
Yeah, of course.
So I mean, if you've got one of those hanging around somewhere, might want to sell it. Get some money. Let's see. We have some quick service mobile ordering available for some new locations.
Yes.
Do you remember what they all are?
Yes. So, well, I don't remember all of them, but
ready? Pop quiz. Ready, set, go.
So we touched on this briefly that Disney is trying a mobile ordering on their app. It's on the My Disney Experience app. It's under My Plans. You can go under there, choose a participating restaurant, and you will order on the app. You will then, when you get to the restaurant, you will order and prepay. So, which means there's no
discount.
No, there's no dining plan accepted at this point. So that kind of stinks. So you do have the only thing they're taking right now is credit cards. So no discount cards, no rewards cards, no
Can't even use rewards cards?
Yeah, rewards cards. And no gift cards. That's what I was trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
you think because you saw the 16-digit number.
I don't know.
I don't like it.
So you order and you prepay. Then when you get to the restaurants, then you let them know that you're there. Then they make your food, and then the restaurant will tell you that your food is ready. You go to a separate counter, and you pick up your food at a separate counter. So some of the restaurants that are currently
it's basically Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom.
Yes.
With the exceptions of Yak and Yeti Quick Service, Casey's Corner.
Right.
I know. I think everybody else that I could think of was on the list. That's the only two.
And if they're not, they're going to be very, very soon.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to think. Pinocchio's is coming soon. Columbia Harbor House is coming soon. Restaurantosaurus at Animal Kingdom. Pizzafari.
Flame Tree's already.
Flame Tree.
Right. Cosmic Rays is coming soon or already there?
I think it's already there.
Okay.
But if not, like I said, I think it's going to be even like this month even.
And I can't read my notes.
So it's a lot of them.
Hi, Cindy.
Yeah. And Deluxe Burger.
At
Disney Springs.
Yes.
Which actually I think that's probably where it's the biggest benefit. Because from what I understand, like, waiting for a burger at Deluxe Burger is like, just forget it. Just don't even.
I so wish I would have went there in April, but I went to Earl Sandwich instead.
Earl Sandwich is a solid choice.
Oh, I just signed up for a promotion to try to win a free $50 gift card for Earl of Sandwich. I was like, do you know how many sandwiches that is? That's awesome.
Well, that means we're going to have to go down and use them.
I know, right? Day trip.
Hi, Alan.
Wow. Really, Cindy?
I said hi to her. Calm down.
Hi, Cindy.
What else we got in news?
Oh, let's see.
What
else is happening? Okay. Food and Wine, special events booking. So Party for the Senses and the Food and Wine demos is open. So if you're going to be at Disney World for Food and Wine and you want to do something a little extra special, book it now. Hurry.
Yes.
They'll fill
Cindy
up.
says hi to you.
Yay.
Alan also says hi.
Let's see. Also, 20% off on Disney Cruise Line fall cruises out of New York.
Really?
So, Mid-Atlantic folks who don't want to get on a plane to get on a cruise ship, this is your opportunity.
Oh, we need to talk about that later.
Call us. They are veranda rooms only, but to be honest, yeah, you can cruise if you're going on an Inside or an Ocean View. You know, you'll still have a great experience.
Hey, Rob.
Get a veranda if you can. If at all possible, if you can squeeze it into the budget any way, shape, or form, do a veranda. Thank me later.
It really does make a huge difference.
It does. It does. Especially if you would happen to hit any kind of rocky water. Just being able to walk outside and get some fresh air can make a world of difference in whether you're gonna feel a little sick or not. So definitely recommend doing that.
Yeah, veranda rooms, totally worth the upgrade.
You know, on the 20% veranda, they are all guaranteed category staterooms, which means that your veranda could be anywhere on the ship. So you don't have any control over what deck. You don't have any control over forward, midship, or aft. So that, you know, if you're thinking about taking advantage of that special, just be aware there's no, like, that's the only thing that's available. It's called GTY. It's guaranteed only. Okay. Those are 4-night cruises, which do Canada. They have one stop in St. John's, New Brunswick, and then back to New York. So you're going to have a lot of sea days on that trip, which is kind of nice, actually. They also have the 7- and 8-night Bahamas cruises out of New York. We'll warn you, going down the Atlantic coast can be a little iffy at times. So that would be one of those places where having that balcony will really come in handy. Especially around Cape Hatteras. It gets a little, I don't know, there's something there, the way that...
A cape.
It's a cape, yeah. And it's not a superhero cape.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're back.
Let's see. Okay, that's all I have for news. Do you have any other news?
I think we're good.
Any news?
Oh, Descendants is airing right now on Disney Channel.
But don't tune in. Stay
We'll
here
watch
watching.
later.
Yeah.
We'll watch later.
Record
At least leave the
DVR.
Facebook open.
Don't
Stay
worry.
with us, please don't go.
Don't
That come
worry.
off desperate.
Don't worry. It will be replayed at least 20 times tomorrow alone. So.
Right.
But I know where Olivia is right now. She's probably watching.
So, moving on to our topic for the evening, we're talking about Disney Cruise Line, in case you couldn't tell. And specifically, we're going to talk about the Disney Fantasy, but we're also going to talk a little bit about some of the elements and how they differ from the Disney Dream, because we didn't quite get through that entire ship when last we spoke of it 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
I know, we had a lot of time in between on that one. So, things that we have to cover tonight are staterooms, Castaway Key, the clubs and the district, and the theaters and the shows. So that's what we have in store for you here coming up. Like I said, we will be comparing the Dream to the Fantasy a little bit. I don't know that we really touched on the pool areas too much.
I think
we talked about
skated over
there
it, but...
being adult and child pool, or adult and family pool separation, but not how that exactly works out. So we'll touch on that a little bit.
You'd say we just dipped our toe in the pool areas?
Wow. Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Basically. So, do we want to start with the pools? Because that is kind of close to where we left off, I think.
Sure.
And then we'll go to the room. Because, I mean, you should always take a swim before you go to the room. So our pool areas are going to be located on the upper part of the ship, of course. Right? Makes sense, right? So it'll be decks 11 and 12, are where all of our fun water activities are going to take place. The adult pool areas, there are two. Satellite Falls, which is kind of like a waterfall hitting you in the head, and the Cove Bar and Pool. Of these two spaces, I can tell you I've got a clear favorite.
I wonder which one it is.
What did you think just from seeing them? What was your...
Definitely not the, whatever.
The waterfall in your
Yeah.
head? Yeah.
The water prison?
The water prison.
Yeah, because you can go behind it, and it falls in front of you.
Yeah.
We went first thing in the morning, so they had just turned the water on, so the tiles were really hot.
Oh,
And the
no.
water was freezing cold,
Oh,
so I
no.
was like, oh my gosh, this is really unpleasant.
Yeah, this is a bad combination.
I was like, let the children up here, this is terrible.
She wonders why I just want to stay in my stateroom and nap.
I would imagine later in the day, once the water starts to cool off the tiles, it's probably really nice up there, but first thing in the morning, that is not your best bet.
Yeah.
In contrast, the Cove Pool and Bar area, like, to me, that was like my favorite spot on the ship. That I was like completely in love with that space. There are 3 levels to the pool. The one is has a bench, and you can just sit with your feet in the pool. Then the center section was actually, for my height, was 100% perfect, because the water, literally, if I was on my tippy toes, the water came right underneath my chin. So I could just, like, float there and, like, be a water ballerina. And no one else was in the pool.
And she did.
No, like, literally, nobody else was even in
It's
the pool.
true.
It was, like, you had your own private pool. Not just there weren't any kids, like, there were no other people. It was fantastic.
Wow.
And then the third area we didn't go into too much. I think you could sit down and be like submerged up to your waist in the water on that one. But the bar was connected directly to the area where you could sit and put your feet in. So you didn't even have to get out of the pool to go get a drink, which was really awesome.
Very convenient.
Yeah. And then there was a hot tub on either side of the pool space.
Yes.
So that was like, amazing.
Although we do have to say that kids area or no kids area, the hot tubs fill up really fast and they pretty much stay full all day long.
Yeah, and they're usually full of kids.
Yeah.
But they're in the adult area. So, yeah. Which, okay, folks, hot tubs are meant for 12 and up.
Yeah.
The reason they're meant for 12 and up is because they don't want you to try to cook your children's internal organs. Please, for their safety. It's not because I don't want to see kids in the hot tub having a good time. Please keep them out of the hot tubs till they're 12. And please, once there are 12, only let them in for a couple minutes at a time. It's really not good for them. It's there for a reason. And they've got fantastic pools for families. They have the Donald Duck pool. They have the Mickey pool. Mm-hmm. There's a Mickey water slide into the pool. There's the Aqua Duck that everybody can use. For the youngest kids, there's the Nemo Splash and Play area. I mean, just fantastic pool options. Like, better than any other ship I've seen at sea. And there are lots of things for them to do. Keep them out of the hot tubs. So,
she just wants the hot tub for herself.
No, I really don't even care. I don't even spend much time in the hot tubs.
You don't.
I have feelings about this.
No, apparently.
I don't think it's good to endanger
Strong
children's
feelings.
health. I just think it's a bad idea. So, anyway, that's the pool situation.
And one way to notice if you're in the adult-only pool area or the children's area is that the adult section has the comfy cushions on the seats. So if you and your child are in a pool area and you notice the nice cushions,
and you're thinking, "Gosh, this chair is comfortable,"
nice. Then you're in the wrong place. So just want to throw that out there.
It's a jest. Of course, there are children that wander into the adults area, and it's a family ship, and you honestly just expect that it's going to happen. Like, don't freak out about it if you're on an adults-only trip. I mean, it's not the biggest deal in the world. But on the same token, if you are traveling with your family, try to be respectful of the fact that there are two separate sections, and stay where is the most appropriate for your family to be at wherever stage you happen to be at. So, like I said, plenty of pool space for the families on the boat. The Cove pool is actually really, really teeny tiny. So, you start getting a whole bunch of kids in there, you're really going to have a problem because nobody's going to be able to move.
Right.
And become a sardine can very quickly. Okay, pools. Aqueduct.
Yes.
So much fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. Aqueduct. Do it. Yeah.
Now, if there's a certain amount of wind, you need a partner on the aqueduct. Is that correct?
Yes, and sometimes they shut it down altogether, especially when you're sailing, because it does sway, and it actually goes out over the side of the ship. So, yeah, I mean, if there's any chance that it's going to crack open and I'm going to fly out the side of the ship, I would appreciate if they would shut it down.
That's not going to happen. Please stop implying that might happen.
It can't happen, but that's where my mind goes. This is why I'm afraid of everything and I don't ride things.
Yes, but don't mention it to people.
So,
but it's really cool.
The aqueduct is a tube.
Transparent.
Which usually would be a problem for me, but the transparent tube, while it still freaks me out a little bit, I can do it. So if you do have some claustrophobia issues, take a look at it. You might be okay. It does splash you in the face quite a bit. I wasn't really prepared for that on the first go round. But it is really fun and it's fast. So, so the first time when you're kind of experiencing it, like, what is it? I don't know. I'm like, it's new. Yeah, it's over fast. And then you get to go again.
If you're at a sea day, you will feel like you are in a Disney park because it will take you longer to get through the line to the aqueduct than it will to ride it. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. Port days, wonderful days to go on the aqueduct.
Yeah, and in fact on the Dream and the Fantasy, because you will... you'll visit, in the Dream you'll visit Nassau, in Fantasy you won't. But if you are visiting Nassau, that's a port where I highly recommend just hanging out on the ship and making a port day for yourself. Because all of the port day activity, or all of the sea day activities are much less crowded on port days. So that kind of applies to anything that you want to do on the boat.
Yeah.
The spa's included.
Yeah.
It's a great day to visit the spa
and then on the sea day... take your relaxation, you know, make that your read a book day,
yeah.
or go to the movie theater day, because that's a high capacity attraction.
Right.
That'll keep you clear of the crowds a little bit more than trying to do all the same things everybody else wants to do at the same time. Did we forget something?
No, I'm writing myself in it.
Okay. Let's see. That's pools. Staterooms.
Staterooms.
There are staterooms.
And I know that I mentioned this when we talked about the Dream, but I've never sailed before, and I was very, very impressed with the size of these staterooms. They are huge.
Mm-hmm. Relative to staterooms on other ships.
Huge.
Yes. In fact, Disney Cruise Line is the largest in category. So, if you're looking at a standard inside stateroom, between Disney Cruise Line and other cruise line providers, you're going to find that the Disney standard inside stateroom is larger than the standard inside stateroom on another provider.
Right.
Dee is saying hello from Shanghai.
Hi, Dee! What time is it? Is it like 9 in the morning? 8:30 in the morning, maybe?
I don't know. We'll see if she answers.
Okay. She might not. She's probably going back to the parks already.
I'll keep you posted.
I don't blame her. Your pictures are awesome, by the way, if you're
Yes.
still watching. I'm very much enjoying
And
them.
Christy suggests wearing flip-flops and hold them while on the aqueduct because the deck and stairs get
Yes,
so hot.
yes,
So,
good tip. Good tip.
Yep. Oh, Dee says it's 8:30 a.m.
Oh, okay, so you are on the completely other side of the world from us right now. That's amazing. I know she posted the other day that she was really worried about whether there was any social media at all. She thought she'd be like total blackout in China. So I'm glad to see that you're here with us. That's awesome. So staterooms, they're. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, talking to people who have cruised on other cruise lines, that's one thing they mention is, the staterooms, they're kind of tight, and, you put one arm here and the other arm here, and they're touching walls. And so I wasn't expecting to see what I saw.
Right.
And they were very spacious.
Yeah. And, I mean, of course, that can change throughout the industry as new ships come online from different providers and everything. Right. So it's not necessarily the case that it'll always be that Disney has the most ample staterooms. However, a lot of cruise lines are going the way of the hotel industry, where how slim can we make this room before people start to complain and don't want to book. You'll notice a lot of the mega ships coming out now, they're hauling 3,000 to 5,000 passengers. They're enormous. And while that gives you a lot of opportunity to do a lot of different things, because they have the draw from the public, they have the interest to be able to do things like ice skating shows and diving shows and all kinds of other crazy things you would never think that you should be on a ship.
Dee is heading to Tokyo, so safe travels, all right. Dee.
We'll look forward to your pictures from there.
And Jeff wanted us to remind everyone that the beds are raised with space underneath for your luggage, so that does add to the spacious feeling of the rooms on the cruise ships.
Where were we?
Big rooms.
Oh yeah, and the when you have those larger ships, you're going to get a wider availability of entertainment options, but you're also going to increase the competition for those items.
So it cancels each other out.
Right, exactly. Because, there's an ice show, but guess what? If you're going on the Oasis of the Seas, which is a Royal Caribbean ship, you actually have to schedule a time to go to that show, basically buy a ticket for it. Wow. And it's like that for most of their performance types of events. And it's simply because they know they have the capacity to handle all the guests, but they can't handle them all at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yep.
So, you have to kind of give and take on that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have ice shows and,
Yeah, I would love to see that on a show.
Go-kart tracks or whatever they're putting on them now. But,
this one, actually.
I'd almost bet it. But, it becomes more and more a crowded floating city, which, depending on how you vacation, maybe that's up your alley.
Yeah, I mean, if you were thinking either cruise ship or New York City for vacation, you're probably going to find it's not that crowded. But, if you were thinking cruise ship or, cornfields in Iowa, you're going to be like, oh my God, why are all these people on my vacation?
And that is one thing, when we went on our Disney cruise, I never felt crowded.
I didn't either. It was like the perfect size ship that there was enough variety of things to do because they had a large enough crowd to appeal to everybody, but it wasn't so large and there weren't so many staterooms that it felt like, oh, I just want to do this thing and I can't because there are people in my way. The way of my vacation. What's this monorail shirt? Por favor, Mantenganse,
gosh.
it's like, please stand clear of my vacation. Mis vacaciones, but I can't remember the whole thing now, so. But yeah, I think if I was on certain ships otherwise in the industry, I would want to wear that shirt a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, the MD stateroom on the Disney ship we were on was very spacious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 4 different categories of staterooms.
Yep.
So you have...
There are 9, but within those 9, they're broken down farther. So they're like 9 different levels.
Right.
Well, I mean, they're actually even more than that, but based on where they are on the ship. But
right.
in general, we start with our insides.
Oh, okay. I was going
Yeah.
I was going up
You were going up top first, I was going to start bottom and work our way up.
Interior stateroom. It's a shoebox, but it's a spacious shoebox on a Disney ship.
Yeah.
And they have the magic portholes and all
magic
of them?
portholes.
All
Yes.
of them,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
Yes.
On the Dream and the Fantasy. We'll have to check the Wonder and the Magic
Yeah,
if
I'm not
they've
sure
all
about
been
them.
retrofitted.
Yeah.
Yep.
But typically, 3 to 4 guests in those inside staterooms. They do not go any larger.
Yeah, you
than that.
cannot sleep a 5th person in
No.
an interior stateroom.
No.
And you wouldn't want to,
Correct.
Yes.
honestly.
The deluxe is 204 square feet, and the standard is 169 square feet. So
Let me tell you, those extra 35 square feet, when you're talking 160 square feet, are important. So
yes, and if you're not familiar with the term that Ben used, the magical porthole, it is a real-time picture in the porthole
There's a
sections.
like a
the
TV screen,
Yeah.
a fake window that is actually a TV screen that projects the real-time image of
What's
the water
going on
you're going
outside.
past. Yeah, what's
Right.
happening outside.
Yeah.
And actually, when Disney added these magical portals, it actually shot the price up of the inside staterooms. So it's now like really close. If you're going to book a Disney cruise at all, you're actually really close when you're
Yes.
booking that inside stateroom to just being able to jump up to Ocean View
Right.
without really that much of a price difference.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely something to consider. Whether you want to see the projected image of what's going on outside, or if you'd rather see the real image of what's going on outside.
Mm-hmm.
So I do understand in the magical portals, it's not just the projected image, but you also do get Mickey Mouse swimming
Yes, you
by
do.
occasionally with his scuba gear on.
Yeah.
And I think Nemo
Other animated
swims.
characters.
Yeah. So that's why Nemo's joining us tonight, hanging out on the table.
Hi, Carrie.
He's out in the big blue.
So then we have Ocean View.
Mhm.
Obviously more space than the standard inside room. You have a deluxe family, and then you have a deluxe.
Because there's nothing that isn't deluxe.
Right.
I mean,
If they're all deluxe
Right.
at this point. So family means you can now fit 4 to 5 guests. And the deluxe without family, just back to the 3 to 4.
3 to 4.
So the square foot, if you want the square footage, deluxe family is 241 square feet, and deluxe is 204 square feet.
So that means that deluxe Ocean View and deluxe inside stateroom are exactly the same
Same.
size.
Exactly.
So you're not, by jumping up to the deluxe Ocean View category, you are just getting that exterior view. You're not getting any more space in your stateroom.
Correct.
But honestly, being able to see out, kind of important. And then you'll notice the way that the pricing runs on these staterooms is that the portholes, the porthole Ocean View is going to give you the most cost-effective stateroom. And then as you go up to getting larger windows and getting up higher on the ship and having more of a view that's not obstructed by lifeboats or poles and walls and things like that, then the Ocean Views will go up in price from there. So do kind of be aware if you do book at the base of your category and you have an exterior view at all, whether it's a balcony or whether it's an ocean view, you are going to have some sort of obstruction. Or your window is going to be little. Or so when you're starting at the base of that category, seriously consider, what am I going to actually be able to see? What am I going to actually experience from my stateroom?
Right.
Is that what I'm looking for? Or do I want, to go that little bit extra to get a pretty substantially better product?
Right.
And then, of course, the deluxe Ocean View with veranda just takes that Ocean View stateroom, makes it a smidge bigger,
Yes.
and puts
So
a big old balcony out on it.
299 square feet for the deluxe family, and then the deluxe is 246 square feet.
Right.
And again, the family
Family is the
sleeping 4 to
indicator of
right.
being able to get that 5th person.
Right, 4 to 5, and then just the deluxe is 3 to 4.
Right.
Yes.
And almost all staterooms on Disney ships have a tub and a shower.
Yes.
So that's very different from other cruise lines where you're going to find mostly a shower. So if you are traveling with a family with small children and bath time is a thing, you'd have an opportunity to do it here. So really, very seriously consider if you're traveling with a child who still exclusively takes baths and you're looking into other carriers, you're going to run into a problem for a week. So,
taking showers.
Yeah, exactly. So
Carrie's saying the screen went black.
Oh.
Can you still hear us, Carrie?
We can still see it.
Yeah, we can still see it.
And we're still moving?
Anyone else having technical difficulties?
I can't see me moving my hands.
Well, it's a little bit behind. Oh, nope, it froze. No, there you are.
We're moving.
Yeah.
Okay. Carrie, are we back yet?
Yeah, there you go. See?
Oh, okay.
It's just a little behind.
All right. Hopefully that's still good.
Okay.
We hope you're still with us.
Yes.
And then, of course, you can add, once you're into that veranda category, you can add the concierge service to your stateroom, which would give you an extra lounge with snacks and things like that. Although you get a lot of free food on the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow, free.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you pay for it. But...
And it does not matter if you're on the largest room on the ship. It still does not sleep any more than 5 passengers.
So even if you're going to go with the concierge royal suite, which is 1,781 square feet, you can still only put 5 people in that. That's like twice the size of our first apartment.
It's really nice.
Yeah. You got to go in?
I got to see it.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone else says we're still good.
Okay.
So.
All right, good.
Carrie,
refresh.
Carrie.
Refresh.
There's also the 1-bedroom suite, and in between the royal suite and the concierge ocean view deluxe like super balcony. The 1-bedroom suite will give you a little bit more privacy in the 1 bedroom, and then still have the sleeper sofa available. Nice. So that's nice, and that is 2 bathrooms. It has a rain shower. It has its own whirlpool in suite.
Yes.
It's kind of like a 1-bedroom suite on Disney property. Has a lot of the same characteristics. So
very nice.
Yep. So those are our staterooms.
Yep. Yeah. Staterooms in a nutshell.
Very nice staterooms.
Yep.
Yes.
And just
We're not just saying
I don't know how
that.
well you can see the map because this one's really, really small because there are more decks on the Dream and Fantasy than there are on the Magic and Wonder. But each color that's on the map represents a different category of staterooms. So every time you see that color change, even though all of the staterooms in the center on like deck 8 are verandas, there are 4 or 5 different classes within veranda on that deck. So that's going to give you things like being closer to the center or the ends of the ship, closer to the stairs or elevator. It's going to give you different types of staterooms because certain sections, certain rows will be deluxe family veranda, some will be just deluxe veranda. So there are a lot of different options when you're shopping for your stateroom, which is why we definitely recommend giving one of us a call because we know we know the ship plans pretty well and we spend some time studying them, so we can give you a little bit of guidance as to what rooms are going to be really the best for your family.
Very good. What would you suggest as far as placement on the ship?
Midship.
Midship.
For me, it is midship all the way.
If there is any hint of motion sickness that you get, midship minimizes that and helps keep you happy for the ship. Also, you'll be closer to the stairs and elevators.
Yes.
So, try and be 2 doors down from the stairs so you don't get all of the traffic.
And the midship elevator typically runs from the bottom of the ship to the top, whereas the forward and aft elevators may or may not interrupt service at certain floors.
Yeah.
That's
because
less,
I think that's where the crew does their thing. So
less so on Disney, more so on other carriers. You're going to find that the midship elevator is usually the one that's going to go everywhere.
Jeff's talking about white veranda and clear veranda walls.
Yes, and we can tell that by different classifications that they have on the stateroom. Sometimes the wall, you could get a solid white wall that runs the top to bottom all the way on the side of your balcony, which obviously is going to obstruct your view on one or more sides. And those are those walls are there with purpose. They're they hold the ship up, so they're important. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to be the person who's booked right next to it. So leave that room for somebody who books 3 weeks out. And you book when you're booking early. Book a nice room for yourself.
And speaking of booking early,
yes,
we say it every time we talk about cruising Disney. Disney pricing is always the lowest when pricing comes out.
It's the opposite of other cruise
Yeah.
lines.
If you are booking a Disney cruise right now, you should be looking in the September 2018 to January 2019 timeframe. That's not to say that you can't go earlier, and obviously if you want to go on a New York sailing in the fall, we actually have a discount on that right now. But that price that's being discounted right now, I guarantee you it was lower when it was first released than it is with the 20% off.
Yep.
The only thing that's getting you is that it's an unheard of sale on Disney Cruise Line. And if you're somebody who likes to vacation within a couple months after booking and you don't want to wait for that vacation to come, the only thing this gets you is you didn't have to book way in advance. You can still get a decent rate by booking now.
Yep.
But you're still going to get a better price if you book for next year.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
just FYI.
Why not do both?
Yeah, that's true. Because now that New York's 20% off, you can go ahead and do that now, and then we can get you, on an Alaskan cruise for next year. So I mean, we've got options.
Yeah.
Call us. So moving on from also in the staterooms, Jeff was trying to get me to mention this like 15 times last time we talked about cruises. Wave phones.
Oh.
This is such a cool thing because most of the time when you're on the cruise ship, unless you've gotten an international calling plan, you're not going to be able to use your cell phone because you're in international waters and it's going to cost you $1 bajillion.
I mean, even like any sort of normal international calling plan, I don't think it'll work out at sea.
Not at sea probably, but it will. I think AT&T has like a $10 a day Caribbean plan now.
Oh, nice.
So I just caught that in passing somewhere. So definitely talk to your cell phone carrier if you don't want to be without your phone and you don't want to be dataless for days.
Oh my!
I know, I'm getting the shakes just thinking about it. So, anyway, if you don't want to get an international calling plan and you want to take a break from your phone and not let the outside world call you, which is also nice, Disney does have wave phones in the room that are they're programmed to your room number, so you can take the two phones. Mom and dad can take one, the kids can take one, or husband can take one and wife can take one, and then you can communicate just with each other on the phones.
Or anyone else who has their wave phone with them.
And I think you dial their room number to get them.
So,
on the wave phone.
I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and they provide that free of charge in your stateroom. I mean, that's a huge benefit for Disney Cruise Line. Another thing, while we're talking about things that Disney provides that other lines don't, soft drinks are included. If you go on any of our other providers, which are still lovely, and you can still have a fabulous cruise, and they hit destinations that Disney doesn't. So if you're a destination cruiser, we have other options for you that might fit the bill better. But if you go on one of our other partner cruise lines, you're going to be paying either for an ultimate or for an unlimited soda package, which I believe is somewhere in the neighborhood of like $60 a day.
Oh my word!
Yeah, I can't drink that much soda.
I mean, I could,
That's
but
awful.
Yeah, and it's varied back and forth whether you have to take that package for everybody in the room or not. So you might even get into a situation where you have both people in the room and one really wants the soda package and one doesn't, and you've got to buy it for both, and it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And to buy them at the bar, what are they, like $3.95 a piece for a soda at the bar?
I don't know. You wouldn't let me do it.
Yeah, it's expensive. Last time we got off the ship at Nassau, and I told Ben, I was like, we'll get some Coke when we get to Nassau. Like, you can just wait a minute, okay? And so we bought a bunch of Diet Coke in Nassau, and it was terrible.
That's right, Nassau Diet Coke. You
Awful.
stink.
Well, we were going to do it at Port Canaveral, but we didn't. Like, we were on the Kennedy Space Center excursion, and they didn't take us anywhere near a store, so we didn't have any opportunity to buy Coke. And I mean, it was just as expensive in the gift shop as it was on a boat, so you might as well just wait until you get on the boat and not haul it on. So we were like, oh yeah, we're stocking up on Coke in Nassau. No. Oh, it was bad.
It's a good thing I got a chance to nap, because otherwise caffeine withdrawal, terrible.
Yeah.
But soda.
Yeah, so soda's included, which I think is really nice.
The only time that you are charged for a soda is if you get room service.
Yeah. Or if you do go up and order one at the bar.
Yeah, well.
But why would you do that? Because there's a free Coke machine down in the cabanas.
Because when they give you room service, they'll take you a can of soda, and so that's what they'll charge you for that.
Right. And I think at the bar also that's the rationale, because they actually use a can and it's not from the fountain.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a big deal.
Yes.
Also, you can take some of your own alcohol on Disney Cruise Line. You can actually do that on some of the partner cruise lines too, but the restrictions vary by line. So if that's something that you want to do, just let us know when you're booking your cruise, and we can look into the specific rules for your ship.
Okay.
Let's stick to the ship
Yeah.
and we'll come back to
Yeah.
Okay, so clubs.
Yes.
Clubs. Oh, I don't
So-
dance.
My
We know.
favorite one. My favorite club, one that I thought looked the coolest, was the Skyline Club.
Yes.
And what this club does is every half an hour, the skyline behind the bar changes cities.
Yeah.
So you're in Chicago, then you're in New York, and then you're, where else do you go? San Francisco, maybe?
Paris?
I don't remember.
I forget all the different cities, but
It's
it is
been too long since we've been
so
on a
cool.
Disney cruise.
Dude, our mixology class was in there.
Oh, that's right.
I don't
Oh.
remember.
Guys. If you want cheap drinks, take the mixology class.
Oh my gosh.
5 drinks.
5 drinks for 20
bucks
bucks.
a person.
Nice.
You have to make your own.
Yeah.
But
There was somebody in our group that was a little heavy-handed on the first one.
yeah. Oh yeah, it was the Cosmo, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got
But
back to the room.
It was still a lot of fun. It was actually more fun,
I
obviously.
had a 5-minute argument with myself about how flip-flops work because I couldn't figure out how to get them back on my feet.
Oh, that's a problem.
It was bad. It was really bad. It was a good time though.
Yeah.
Do it. It's fun. It's a fun experience.
So you have Skyline. Oh, I'm sorry, we're talking about the Dream.
It's okay because Skyline is the same on the Dream and the
That's
Fantasy.
right. Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to kind of talk about both
Yes.
because we didn't get to the lounges on the Dream last time.
Yes.
The pink
Pink.
champagne lounge on the Dream. Oh my gosh, one of my favorite. I'm not a champagne drinker, but
No, but the room
what a cute
is so
space.
neat. And it's pink because everything is pink.
Right, and
Yeah.
it's champagne bubbles
It's so neat.
and Dumbo
Yeah,
appears
it's so neat.
in the bubbles, and he pops all around the room. And they say that when you can't find Dumbo anymore, it's time to go home. And they do other things in there. We did a Disney trivia in there. We won a Disney trivia in there.
We did.
Am I surprised?
Dude, we won some killer luggage tags
Oh.
and our very own copy of The Haunted Mansion on DVD.
Yeah. The Eddie Murphy magnum opus Haunted Mansion.
Oh,
Like the
no.
worst movie in existence.
So what is
That was
the Fantasies
The-
version of
Equivalent
Pink?
of... Did I
The
write
champagne.
these down? I
It
didn't.
was the
Oh my gosh, did I seriously not write them down? I relied on myself to remember them for like an hour. Whew. O'Gills is where pink is at.
no.
Yeah, because it's flipped. The geography's flipped. It's not, O'Gills is not where 687 is at, it's where pink is at.
Okay.
So, O'Gills, which obviously, as you can guess, tends towards an Irish pub atmosphere.
Okay, that's not what I was
It's-
referring to.
Yeah.
Is it named for Darby O'Gill of Darby O'Gill and the Little People?
I would assume. It's mirror as far as style of pub on the Dream would be 687. And it's more of a, I hate to use this terminology, but it gives it more of a gentleman's
Yes.
retreat atmosphere. It's
687
more
has
of a
like more
smoking room kind of
right. And there's
vibe.
like in 687 there's games. televisions everywhere.
Yeah,
So
it's like a sports pub kind of.
if there's a
kind of
game
deal.
on, it's going to be on one of those televisions.
Right. And it also has 687 is also decorated with the artwork of the ship being built.
Designed and built.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
that's actually a really cool place just to go in and look at the artwork.
Yes.
O'Gills does not have that. O'Gills is just the
pub style.
pub style, pub atmosphere. And then across the hall from O'Gills is a different lounge.
Oh, I forget what it's called.
I can't remember what it's called. Anybody help us out there? Fantasy people?
Disney Dream or
Oh,
Fantasy?
It's fantasy. Lounge. Well, we'll come back to that.
Yes.
Let's go to the evolution on the Dream, which is really cool. It's like it has like a butterfly pattern on it, and that's all in black. And then the colors are constantly changing in the lounge.
Very
It's
cool.
really awesome.
Yes.
And the
The-
fantasy version of that, you can tell we've both been on the Dream.
Yeah.
We've been on the fantasy. But the fantasy version of that is called the Tube. And it has London styling. There are phone booths,
That's
red phone
cool.
booths inside, and there are stripes in the backs of the chairs that give the
There's D-Lounge,
depiction of the Union Jack. That's the Tube.
Evolution. Or we're on the Fantasy. The Tube.
It's Ooh La La is the
Yeah, thank
yes,
you. Oh my
is the
goodness.
champagne lounge in the on the
Fantasy.
thank you.
And La
We're getting it,
Piazza.
guys. We got it together. La Piazza is on the Fantasy is the same as the District on the Dream,
Okay.
and the District is where you enter. All the other lounges, like the Skyline has a door off of the district. The Pink and 687 are all off of that, and then Evolution's down a hall. So in the Fantasy, you walk into the Piazza, which has it looks like a carousel where the bar is at. It looks really cool.
Pictures look awesome.
Yeah. Let me tell you, we're going on the Fantasy next October, and we're looking at the pictures, and I was like, I can't wait, let's go this October.
Yeah. And we have the Tube.
Yep, the Tube we talked about.
Oh, you did? Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
so when you walk into the Piazza on the Fantasy, you would have O'Gill's off to, when you're standing and looking at the carousel, you'd have O'Gill's to your right, Ooh La La to your left, Skyline kind of straight to the right, and then back a hallway to the Tube. So, yeah. Those were some of the... There's a set of restrooms in that hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Those were some of the best kept restrooms I've ever seen in my life.
It was part of our tour.
They should win an award.
We went into the restrooms as part of our tour.
Yeah,
I kid you not.
Seriously, if you need a restroom on the ship, you need to go down to the lounge area and use the restroom. It's amazing.
Joke. Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
They are nice. I mean, very spacious, well kept.
They really are. Very shiny.
Yeah.
Totally the big difference.
Tamatoa from Moana would be really impressed with them. He'd want to add the stall doors to his shell. And then of course the D Lounge is the big lounge. That's actually at the front of the lounge district. Did they tell you about the forced perspective walking down to the lounges?
I don't know.
They make it look like they have the shadows of people on the wall in the Dream. The styling might be different on the Fantasy, but they have shadows of people on the wall, and they use forced perspective to make it look like the district and its fellow lounges are really far away from D Lounge. And they said they did that in order to discourage the kids from running down the hall and trying to go to the lounges.
Interesting.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just a little psychological thing to be like, this is not your space.
Yes.
You know?
I don't belong here.
That way.
And it's red carpet so that you feel like you're in line
and it's
for a
supposed to
VIP
make you feel
event.
it's supposed to make you feel like you're paparazzi.
I believe outside, at least on the whichever one we were on, the Dream, they had snacks out in the evening. They had a little, was it hot wings?
Yes, I think they're hot hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah.
Hot hors
Yeah.
hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about the hallway leading down.
The Marble Mile. That one too.
No.
Oh. After leaving the district area and going up to
Towards the lounges or towards the atrium?
Towards the atrium. Maybe I'm lost. But
it's easy to do on a ship.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the one restaurant. Royal Palace.
Yeah.
Walking up there, the marble flooring
Mm-hmm.
in the Dream, they refer to it as the Marble Mile.
Oh.
And I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh. A mile of marble?
I don't know.
It's a lot of marble.
Yeah.
I was thinking the window seats.
Oh, yes.
In the Dream. When you're walking down, I'm pretty sure it's that hallway.
Yeah.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And these on both sides, too.
Yeah, that the windows, instead of just being like normal porthole windows, they actually used that space and made little window seats so that you can just sit there and look out at the ocean. Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. Sit in one of those seats for an hour. But the D Lounge, which is where we were going.
That's all right.
Yes.
And D Lounge is the same on both ships. That's where your family activities are going to take place. So that's your interior, auditorium style space, but it's a very flexible space. You can move the chairs around. Sometimes you're facing one direction for your activity. Sometimes you're facing towards, there's a stage in there. They do, I remember there being a princess show followed by a meet and greet in the D Lounge. I went down for a trivia contest that had Dopey was hosting the thing. And usually, you go to a character meet and greet, and you get to walk up, take a picture with the character, maybe say something funny to them, maybe they make a funny gesture to you, try to walk away with you, something cute, right? Okay, this was 30 minutes of doing an activity with Dopey.
That's awesome.
And he was interacting with the audience the entire time and coming out into the audience. It was just, I'm just watching this and marveling at really? I get to spend a half hour with a character. When do you get to do that? It was awesome.
On the Disney Dream.
Yeah, you really do. So D Lounge is a really great space. They do run some trivia in there. They run Animation Academy in there.
Oh, cool.
Wow, just great selection of activities. It's a meeting place a lot of times for excursions. So lots of different things going on in that lounge. That pretty much does it for clubs.
There's the Meridian Club up top.
Right, that is the adults only. Well, I mean, the whole district is adults only, but the and not all day. The district is not adults only all day. They do some family activities, especially in the Evolution or the Tube, because it's a large space. But the Meridian upstairs is adults only all the time, and it's in between Palo and Remy. And we actually did talk about it a little bit last time, but it has a lot of travel styling. So there's like the compass rose on the floor. And
there's
the leather suitcase straps on the booths.
It feels like a Victorian era, like Explorer Gentlemen's Club, like Gentlemen's Club, not the other kind.
Yeah.
So that's that'll pretty much do it for the
club areas.
Scene. Yeah. The theaters. There are 2 theaters on Disney ships because there is no casino. So they take out the space that you usually use for a casino and put a movie theater in it.
Yep.
Thank you, Disney.
Yep. Which does prevent there being smoking inside the ship, pretty much anywhere.
Thank you, Disney.
And it also kind of explains why Disney Cruise Lines run a little bit more expensive. They don't make any money. They don't have a casino to make money off of.
Right.
So...
And honestly, especially if you're getting the drinks of the day, I didn't feel like the alcohol on Disney Cruise Line was that extraordinarily overpriced.
No, it really wasn't.
Like, relative to Disney World...
it was like $6 to $8 for a mixed drink.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure you could get ones that were more expensive than that, but every time I ordered one, it was like $8, and I was like, wow, okay, the last time I was on Carnival, I was paying like $11 a drink, so that's a $3 savings per drink. Per day. So, yeah, I know that we drink excessively, but it does... it does add up if you do.
It does.
So it's definitely a big advantage to have a little bit lower price point for that.
Absolutely.
So the movie theater, was there any first run stuff in there?
I don't think there was first run stuff, but
there was recent.
Yeah, so they
second
obviously Disney now owns Marvel and Disney now owns Star Wars. So despite never actually getting to go to the theater, they were showing the Star Wars trilogy at various times. I missed several showings of Return of the Jedi, and I believe they had relatively recent Marvel releases in the theater as well.
And I would expect that on Marvel Days at Sea and Star Wars Days at Sea, which are specific cruises you can sign up for, I would expect that those offerings are even more fleshed out than they were on ours.
Yeah. So it was like, if you're again no casino, if you're not big into like the outdoors and the sun, like, go to the movies. It's on them. I don't know. You probably had to pay for concessions, I bet.
I think so, but I want to say it's like $1 for popcorn. Like, it's not outrageous.
Yeah. So, like, so keep that in mind.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like a subsidized movie theater experience.
Yeah. Subsidized by the increased price ticket of Disney.
Right. And then, of course, the other stage, the other theater is where the live shows happen. And, activities throughout the day may take place in either theater also. But the live shows are the big draw in there in the evenings, and they do run 2 of each show. They also replay them on the in-state room television. So if you miss the show or you just don't feel like going down and sitting in a theater to watch it, and the kids are getting cranky and you just want to take them back to the stateroom and chill out for a little bit, you can throw it on in the stateroom and catch the show. So you don't have to miss out.
Very nice.
And the shows on the Dream, when we sailed, and I'm not sure what the timeline is as far as this switch happening, but it was Believe, Villains Tonight, and the Golden Mickeys. And is it the Golden Mickeys that's being replaced? Do we have confirmation on that, or is that wishful thinking on my part?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
In April, Golden Mickey's was still
running.
The big Golden Mickey was still outside the theater.
One of them is being replaced by Beauty and the Beast. Fingers crossed for Golden Mickeys.
That was definitely the weakest of the
3.
shows,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and honestly, expect to see more Broadway-style shows coming to the Disney ships that are actually Disney properties. Believe and Villains Tonight are usually met with favor. I will tell you, this was one area for Disney Cruise Line. I was like, this is the best entertainment we can come up with. Like,
nope, could have gone to see Return of the Jedi.
but as far as live shows, we've been on cruises on several other lines, and I would have ranked Disney second from the bottom from the shows that were running when we were on the Dream last.
Oh, wow.
Which, it pains me to say that because Disney has such great properties to work with, and to see them not using it was really disappointing. So I'm really glad to see the Beauty and the Beast is coming to the Dream. They've already made some other changes. Tangled is on the Wonder Magic. What?
Tangled?
Yeah, Tangled's on a boat.
Can we go on that boat? Sorry. I'm easily distracted.
Maybe another time.
Okay.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Okay.
Not today. And on the fantasy, currently they're running Believe, Wishes, and Aladdin. So we're definitely seeing those the Broadway styling of the mid 80s to 90s animated classics being drawn into the ship. So I for one am really happy to see that. I think it's going to make a big improvement.
Yep.
Anything else on theaters shows? It is the theater is one place that it does get crowded on the ship,
yes.
and there is more limited seating than you would hope, especially on the Dream and Fantasy. So that is one place you would want to get to early to make sure that you can get a good seat. Yep. Scheduling dinner around shows is sometimes tricky, so you have to be really conscious of when you're scheduling dinner, which show you're going to go to make sure that you don't miss anything. And last but not least, both of these ships stop at Castaway Cay. And sometimes the Magic stops at Castaway Cay, but only during its off-season when it's back from Europe. So Castaway Cay is Disney's private island. If you've cruised with other lines, you know that most lines have a private island in the Caribbean or in the Bahamas somewhere. And Disney's is actually the only one that all of its ships can dock at the island, and you don't have to tender boat to get to the private island.
Yep.
You can get it off and on.
Right.
Directly.
Without taking a separate auxiliary boat to get to the boat.
To use the boat to get
Where's the boat to the boat?
Yep.
So.
Yeah, when they introduced the two bigger class of ships, they actually had to dredge out the harbor so that they could dock directly at the island. But since Disney is used to reshaping landscape, they were like, sure!
No problem. We got this.
Did we tell you about the time we made a lake?
And then build an entire kingdom.
This is nothing.
We build mountains in our spare time.
Just for funsies. So, Castaway Cay is largely a beach destination, but there are a lot of other really cool things to do there. One of which is if you're into getting up early in the morning and going and running places, you can do the Castaway Cay 5K. Ben's shaking his head. He did it. He has the medal to prove it.
Probably let me cheat and skip the second loop.
I know, dude. My feet felt like they were going to fall off. It was the weekend after the Wine and Dine half marathon that I had run. And I was in some serious pain by the time we got to Castaway Cay. So.
And obviously, I'm in peak physical shape, so.
So anyway, the Castaway Cay 5K is a very informal 5K.
Yes.
So if you'd like to run a Run Disney race, and you're not sure about the whole signing up way ahead of time and having to book extra travel to do it, but you really kind of want to get a medal and you just want to go out and have some fun and say that you did a Run Disney event, this is your event.
So you can do the Castaway Cay 5K anytime?
Anytime. Every
so
time
it's
the
not
ship
just
docks.
one specific weekend
Now,
is Castaway Cay 5K.
Right. Because there's no other way to get there besides the Disney ship. So, but it's very laid back. There's no race bib with official times. They just put a little Seiko timer up there and say, "All right, guys, everybody start. About now." and you can you can glance at the clock when you get back, but nobody records it.
Yeah.
No one cares. They're just like, "Yay, you lived. Here's a medal."
Here's a plastic.
They are plastic. They're the rubberized plastic medal. But they still say Castaway Cay 5K on it. You get to wear your medal back to the ship and, look all proud of yourself.
And then go to the buffet.
Out of my way.
I will say, you can't sign up for it until you get on the ship. So this is not something you can reserve ahead of time. I don't think it's anything that's ever filled up. So don't think you're going to have to worry about them running out of space. They won't run out of medals. They'll have one for you. Don't worry.
Funny.
I think we did have a race bib.
But
it didn't have any tracking on it or anything. It was just a piece of paper to be like, yeah, go you. You're up at 8 o'clock in the morning and ready to run.
That's awesome.
You might want to consider the weather for the time of year you're going because the first leg of the race is out on the airport road which has absolutely no tree cover whatsoever, and it's interior to the island, so there's also no cool breeze.
Yep, it's like running on the surface of the sun.
Right.
If it was damp.
And then the second part, you go around a very tree-covered loop, which, because you now have tree cover and no air, it's extremely humid. So there are like 4 water stops in 3 miles. So it's not bad. Because there's a water station right at the tree loop. So you run down the airport road, get the water, around the tree loop, get the water, run down to the airport road and back, get the water, run around the loop, get a water, and then go home.
Or skip the second loop.
Or skip the second loop and just go home. But yeah, it was fun.
It was.
I don't know that I need to do it again because I already have a medal. But definitely, like I said, if it's hot that day, just blow it off. Don't go. Because it's miserable if it's hot. Other things to do on Castaway Cay, there is a tram that runs from the boat down to different areas on the island.
Yep.
I wouldn't say you probably can explore the whole island on one visit. There are 2 family beaches, right? One of the family beaches has a water slide that's out in the lagoon. So you actually have to swim out to it and climb up it and go down.
Cool.
We didn't do that. We had rented tubes.
Yes.
On like the windiest day in the world.
Yes.
and there's a little like for folks around here, if you've been up to Laurel Lake, you know how they have the the little divider things that
like the lane line.
Yeah, it's like the lane lines with the big old bobby things on them. It really reminded me of that, except the water's clear, and you weren't stepping.
It's supposed to be clear. It wasn't really clear that day.
Yeah, but you don't step on tadpoles or anything. Like it's like nice. So we're on these like rafty floaty things, and this strong wind keeps pushing us over. It keeps pushing us over the lane line, and we know every time we went over, we're like, we're not supposed to be over here. But it was like a workout to get back with the floaty things. So this is another thing I would say: don't reserve it ahead of time because they had plenty of floaty things.
Yeah,
you were not in danger of not being able to get a floaty thing. Just wait till you get there. If it's windy, go to the water slide. Don't do the floaty thing.
Yeah.
It was definitely like I was working hard and I'm like, we're on vacation. Like what is all this happening here? Plenty of beach chairs.
Yeah.
Plenty of sand space. Definitely not a problem having room to spread out and do whatever you wanted. There's also Serenity Bay, which is an adult only section. We didn't make it up there because we were kind of done with the whole wind situation after lunch, and we just went back to the boat.
That was the other thing. Lunch. It was a cookout picnic style lunch, and it was free of charge.
Right, because they took the food off of the of the ship. They were like, we're bringing lunch out to you, so you didn't have to. Yeah. Right, because usually if you're in port somewhere, you're like kind of on your own for lunch because till you get off of the ship and do anything, you don't want to go back on to come back off, and you end up buying lunch, even though you could get free lunch on the boat. Well, Castaway Cay, you don't have to worry about that because they're bringing lunch to you, which is really,
cool.
really
it was
great.
Really awesome.
And the way that they had it set up, it was like, it was a pavilion kind of style, and there were 4 stations. So you had 4 different points around the pavilion that you could get in line. It wasn't like everybody lining up to get to one buffet.
Very nice.
It ran plenty long for you to get food. There were tons of picnic tables to eat at. Definitely didn't feel crowded there at all.
Yeah.
And I understand there are 2 of those stations. So I think there is a station at Serenity Bay, if I recall correctly. There are cabanas for rent on Castaway Cay. So if your family wants to get a spot that's on the beach but out of the sun, I don't understand, but okay.
I do.
But if you'd like to get that kind of a space, you do have an option to reserve a cabana. They're very expensive. They're like $600 for the day. Wow. A lot of people will try to get. I think they fit like 12 people. So a lot of people will try to go in on it with other people and use it that way. Now, okay, they're $600 a day, right? If you're not a platinum or gold member, just forget it. You're not getting one. They will be sold out by the time your excursions open up. So it's kind of like until you've cruised a couple of times and paid your dues and sat in the sun, you really don't stand much of a chance of being able to swing one.
Drown in the inner
for you.
tubes.
Yeah. Let me think. Anything else about Castaway Cay? I'm sure there are tons of other things, but
besides the fact that I'm ready to go.
Right, having been there like one day. That's pretty much my memory. There were characters right off of the boat, and we were on a very maritime cruise, so they had everything was decorated. Like there was a Christmas tree outside on Castaway Key,
cool.
which was really neat.
And that is another thing that Disney Cruise Line does, is they have very merry time when you're traveling at Christmas. They light the Christmas tree. They have Mickey come out and light the Christmas tree in the atrium. It's beautiful.
And we'll actually talk specifically about the items on the Very Merry Time cruises and on the
Halloween on the High Seas, the Halloween themed cruises.
We'll talk about those when we get into those seasons.
Yeah.
So, we will be talking some more about Cruise Line here and there. Obviously, we have 2 more ships to cover, but we will have more for you when we get to that point. That's all I can think of to share about Castaway Key. Good. Anybody else have anything else about the Dream or the Fantasy? We talked about the stylings a little bit. Right?
Last time?
About the magic. The Dream being an Art Deco style, everything's a little bit more angular, more primary colors, whereas the Fantasy has softer, it's more curved lines in the architecture, softer colors. In fact, the chandelier in the Fantasy, of course, we looked at pictures of it, and I looked at it, I was like, oh, it looks like a peacock. So it's got that kind of a feel to it. It's a little bit more brightly colored, whereas the Dream is a little bit more has a little more depth in the coloring. It's darker. So,
but
as far as the mood of the ship,
absolutely gorgeous ships. Just
stunning.
Very well decorated. Like everything, every detail is covered. It really is you got to take a tour of one of those. It was the Dream. It was the Dream when you did your training.
Yes.
And isn't it just walking through it? Isn't it just amazing?
It is. It's beautiful. I don't even know what other words to use to describe it. It took my breath away, and I think I told you guys last time I cried because it was
just beautiful.
Gorgeous.
So,
and we were just in South Carolina last week, and I ran into a family who they had taken 44 cruises in their lifetime, but never a Disney cruise. But what they told me was they've seen Disney cruise ships docked at destinations that they have been to, and they just stand there and they look at it. And I know Jeff had mentioned a similar story, but I'm meeting a complete stranger, and of course I'm talking Disney to them, and because they told me they went on 44 cruises, and I was like, did you go on a Disney cruise?
Here's my card.
But they said no, but it is the most gorgeous ship, and they weren't even on it. They saw it from a distance, and they were just like, why isn't that my cruise ship?
Right.
You know,
it really is. It's the Titanic era styling, and
beautiful.
I know that's a taboo word in cruising, but it really is. It has this large smokestacks. It's got the everything is
one is fake actually.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty cool.
Just for funsies.
Yeah. It is.
Did you know that when you board the Disney cruise ships, they actually take you into the atrium and call your family's name, and they have crew members lined up.
Awesome.
It was
they don't
really
do that on
neat.
Any other line that we've been on all of them except Norwegian that we sell.
Yeah, we haven't been on them recently, but we're rectifying that.
We've never been announced except for Disney Cruise.
Yeah, it was a very, very nice experience.
It's very regal.
Yeah, and there was they do the photo ops on cruise ships. They have those with characters, but we weren't forced into them or anything like that. It was just there, and and it's Disney. You kind of go for the characters,
right? If you're not there for the characters and for the stories that Disney tells, you're kind of missing half of the experience.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the quality and service are definitely standout.
Yeah.
Like you said, we've cruised several other lines and nowhere near. I mean, the service is great on cruise ships.
Yeah.
Just all other cruise ships, Disney service. It's intangible, but it's a feeling. It's a feeling that when you leave your vacation, you're like, I got a good value on this trip.
Yes. Yeah. And this is kind of on the same topic, but not as far as even just looking at the outside of the ship. Disney wanted to change the color of the lifeboats.
Yes.
And so they went through.
Because typically they're orange.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were not happy with that. It didn't look right with their Monica blue cruise ships. So they had all these different colors tested with the Coast Guard, and now they're a yellow.
They're Mickey Shoe yellow.
Yes, yes. And because the orange just did not fit. So it's the details.
It's that level
detail
of making sure that every second that you're on board that ship, you feel like you're part of the story. the word I would use to describe other lines is white or gray. Like, they have all of the same, like, if you look down over the itinerary for the day, all the same stuff is there. They have, you know, some sort of trivia thing. They have a contest on deck. They don't have character meet and greets because they're lame, but
Yeah.
they have, you know, they'll show a movie somehow, or they'll, you know, have a show. And
I think they have movie theaters in a lot of them now.
yeah, they do, and they have movies up on the deck.
Yeah.
A lot of them. So, they have all of the same elements. But when you're walking around the ship, you're going to walk into elements that are structural for the ship. Like, lines that run down in front of a walkway, and places that are they're painted like shipyard gray because they're part of what keeps the vessel floating. They're very important. But Disney will cover them up for you. They cover them up with some sort of nice theming and something that blends into the area and makes you completely forget you're on a boat. It's very cool. That made me think of something, except now I forget what it was because that was 3 seconds ago. It was something about shows.
Show times, new shows.
On the deck.
Fireworks.
Yeah.
The reason this poster is behind me tonight. There is a pirate night on Disney ships.
Yep.
And you can take your own pirate gear. Of course, you can't take any weapons or facsimile weapons. Just, it's Disney. Like, use common sense. However, if you forget your pirate gear, or if you don't own pirate gear, Disney will leave you a Pirates in the Caribbean bandana.
Mm-hmm.
And did we get an eye patch?
I don't know that we got an eye
I think there
patch.
was something else with our
We did
bandana.
get tacos.
We did get tacos.
Top?
Yeah, there was the midnight buffet was a taco bar.
Yeah.
And
Oh
it was
my
on
goodness.
Pirate Night. So you went to the Pirate Night
Oh,
show,
goodness.
which was a live show up on the deck with pirates.
Yep.
And
Not actual pirates, people dressed as pirates.
yeah. People didn't board the boat and try to take it over.
Yeah.
It was not that kind of cruise.
Didn't they like put a cover over the pool or
Remember
something
somebody
so
else
we
that they
could
had
like
something-
Yeah, there was like a platform so that everybody could have a space.
Yeah.
And it was pretty. It was crowded, but it was easy to get a spot.
Yeah.
And the pirates came out into the audience, like we were this far from one.
Yeah, it was neat, and there were fireworks.
And fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and depending on now, when you get that veranda stateroom, you'll thank me depending on which side of the ship you're on, because you can see the fireworks from your veranda if you're on the right side.
No.
As in the correct
The
side.
correct
not
side,
the
yeah.
right side.
And I think the side actually
It varies by the wind pattern.
Yeah. So.
But if you ask a cast member, they probably will be able to tell you, like, later in the evening which side the fireworks are going to be on, and then you can decide, oh, that's my side. Yes, I watch it from my balcony. Or, no, that's not my side. Crap. I got up on the deck. But yeah, taco buffet was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't really compare. Like, cruise ships used to do this, like, midnight buffet thing, and it was a big deal, and it was, like,
ice
food
sculptures.
galore and ice sculptures and chocolate carvings and stuff like. I don't think anybody's doing that anymore. I'm pretty sure that they've pared that down. Yeah. And I'm sure it was for cost, and honestly, like, you're feeding these people this luxurious dinner. I'm thinking they probably had a lot of waste associated with it, and everybody's really scaled that back.
Yeah.
So Disney's version of the scaled back is tacos, and they did have some carvings, like, out of watermelon.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, they had, like, some pirate watermelon carvings and things like that on the buffet. So there were still elements there of that old midnight buffet style experience, just not quite as extravagant.
Oh, also, this is very important when you are a Disney cruise ship. On the main deck, midships, there is soft serve. You do not have to pay for it. There is ice cream you can go and get that's like Cold Stone Creamery style, super fancy that you pay for.
That's at
But-
Vanilla Beans.
But there is soft serve for free. Get a bowl from the
And it's like banana and strawberry.
yeah.
Like, and I mean, I think they changed out the flavors, but
Yeah.
I
So
was pretty excited about
very
that.
important to know.
The banana was amazing.
Yeah. We only discovered that like our second to last day or something like
I
that.
was kind of bummed because it was like, man, look at all these ice cream opportunities we missed out on.
I know. One of the funniest things that happened was on our last night, the cruise director came up and told everyone exactly how much ice cream and how many meals had been consumed on our 4-day,
Oh,
5-night
no.
cruise.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I don't remember what it was.
It was a lot.
Ridiculous.
But
That's another thing about.
but there was no food shaming involved.
No. It wasn't like
It was good
It wasn't
natured.
like you guys ate all this food. It was like you guys ate all this food. Way to go! Good job. You made us cook all this stuff. The cruise director on our ship, like when we've sailed other lines, and the cruise director gets up and speaks, I've always kind of felt like, I'm like, who is this person? Why do I care what they're talking about? Like, you're interrupting my vacation. Like, I feel like you're selling me things.
Yeah, that's right. It feels like a sales pitch.
It does. The cruise director, and like this could be specific to our cruise director on this specific experience on this specific ship. Oh my gosh! Like, I felt like I wanted to go out and have a drink with this guy. Like, he was so cool. Like, he was just he talked to us like we were people.
That's awesome.
Instead of
and like
being
he was genuinely happy to see us.
Right, exactly. And instead of being like, well, this is the rundown for things that we have today, and go to the jewelry seminar, and you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So definitely a great experience on Disney Cruise Line. I highly recommend it. Yes, it is a little bit higher price on average than your other lines, but there is a difference in experience that comes along with that. Yep. So definitely check it out. Hit us up for quotes. Happy to run anything for you. And with that, tomorrow, 8 a.m., Counselor Park, York, Pennsylvania. Come run with us, or walk with us, or hang out at our table and hand waters out to people. We don't care. Come down and see us. We're at 8 a.m., so hopefully it'll be before it gets hot.
Oh my.
I got some bad news for you.
It's gonna be hot.
It's gonna be hot. Okay.
It might just be warm at 8 a.m., but
we'll have some water.
We'll have lots of water.
Bring a bandana soaked in water. Bring some ice to sit on your head when we're done. I don't know. Bring something cold.
Yep.
Yeah, but come out and join us. It's a morning of fun. And we'll be there, so what's not fun about that? I think we're leaving like 6 hours.
Yeah, I know. We gotta wrap this up.
And, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it was that late.
Yeah.
And 1 week from today, we will be at the Utz Bash here in Hanover, Pennsylvania.
So come see Amy.
Yes, we will be having a $25 Disney gift card giveaway. So stop by our booth.
Yep.
We hope to see you there.
And that is at the Utz factory on Carlisle Street, right?
Street, yes.
Yep.
Correct.
And also, who's going to be joining you? Melissa and Heather and Jared, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
So you can go see Amy and Melissa and Heather and Jared at the Utz Bash. Our
Friday.
Live broadcast next Friday will be coming to you from the West Coast. We'll be coming to you from San Francisco. I'm going to try to make that as close to 8 p.m. Eastern as possible, but bearing in mind that that is 5 o'clock in San Francisco. I'm not sure what time our activities actually end for the day. They told us to make dining reservations at night for 7:30 or later. So it might be a really late live cast next week, but we will put out a show of some variety at some point on Friday. We'll try to get it as close to 8 as possible. So it'll probably be pretty brief just because, we're on vacation. So, and we'll try to bring you some highlights of the trip. That's what we'll be talking about. San Francisco Adventures by Disney next week. So probably pretty limited news show and mostly overview about the trip. And then we'll be back with you the following week with a topic. I don't know what it is.
Sure. You say so.
Yeah, I'm going to say we're back on cruise ships. It might be the Magic or the Wonder that week. Okay. So tune in. It'll be great. While Ben's coming over to the camera to shut us down, our fun fact for the week is about the Canadian Pavilion at Epcot. As it might not surprise you to learn, the climate in Florida is a little different than that of Canada. But to maintain authenticity, real Canadian plants are used at the Canadian Pavilion at Epcot. As you can imagine, they die a lot. So instead of using different types of plants just to mimic the Canadian foliage that would be found there, Disney actually just replaces the plants every time they die. So just a little glimpse into everything that Walt Disney World does to keep bringing you the magic. So we'll be back next time. Till then, we'll see you real soon.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, everybody.